I've got the new Instant Look of Love palette by Charlotte Tilbury. I've got some of the new Nars cream bronzer. I've got the new Huda Glowish. I've also got the new Fenty Bright Fix. Okay, let's get started. I have put on some CeraVe moisturizer, put on some ultraviolet Queen Screen, SPF 50. I'm going to put on actually just a little bit of Marc Jacobs as a primer because I know that this wears well under pretty much every foundation. So it's a great moisturizer and primer. This one or the Bobbi Brown face base. I like to use either or if I'm testing out products because I know they both work really well. Let's start with the Fenty Beauty. Now I got the color 04 Crepe. I thought that was going to be too dark, but after I swatched it, actually it looks like it might be okay. This one here claims to instantly hydrates, brightens, blurs, light as air, sheer to buildable coverage that lasts. Let's just have a look and see what the Sephora website says about this Fenty product here. The Fenty Bright Fix it's called. Under eye brightener and illuminator. It says a little bit goes a long way. Apply a small amount and tap and blend. Buildable and easy to layer with your skincare. Can be layered with Pro Filter concealer. Works well with fingers, brush, or sponge. Bright Fix has a serum-like consistency that instantly brightens and blurs with crease, humidity, and sweat-resistant formula that contains jojoba oil to help condition delicate under-eye skin. This Hydro Blend complex, full of hydrating ingredients, helps attract and hold moisture to the skin. Big claims. So let's start with this then. And then let's just tap that in with our finger first and see how that goes. Because I have dark circles under my eyes, the fact that this is a bit yellow will probably actually work in my favor in helping to cut out some of that redness and that darkness. If I don't have your exact shade, don't panic because like I said, if you do have to get a shade darker than perhaps what you normally would, you might find like me that it would actually help you. And I'm just gently working this in. Definitely see a difference. Let's try and build up a little bit more. I don't usually like too much product under my eyes, but for the sake of testing the claims that it's buildable, let's just test that out. It has taken away that dark sort of cast under my eyes, definitely. I wonder if we put it on my top of my eyes and used it as a sort of primer for my eyeshadow and get it really into those corners for how it would work. It blends in well with a sponge as well. I'm still getting good coverage. Don't worry if you use a sponge, as long as it's damp to the touch, not dripping with water, then it shouldn't absorb too much of your foundation or whatever you're using it for anyway. There was a tiny bit more on the end of this, so I'm just putting it here. You can see that it's blended in really nicely. It's given me a little bit of a lift under the eyes, and I am actually amazed that the color Crepe 04 has worked so well. Let's try the next one. So this is the Glowish by Huda. The directions here are to wear alone for an all-over healthy glow. Apply to the center of the face and blend outward. Add your favorite foundation. Boost luminosity. On Sephora, it says Radiant Moisture Pack Skin Tint that instantly brightens your complexion. Blurs pores for a soft, focused, dewy finish. There's a whole big spiel. So go into Sephora or into Huda and have a look at it. It seriously is a do-it-all product. The multifunctional formula means you can wear it alone for sheer coverage for an all-over glow. Huda's favorite way to apply. Add a drop into your foundation for a dewy boost, or you can pop a bit of on your cheekbones. Natural yet radiant highlight. I have the color 02 Fair Light. They do say you can use your sponge or whatever you like. So that's 2 pumps right there. Let's just start on the inside of our face. It's looking pretty orange. Straight off the bat, I'm noticing it's pulling quite orange, but that could just be until it rubs in. I'm going to put that over what we had under our eye because you're supposed to be able to mix this with foundations and things, so it shouldn't be a problem. Not going all the way down my neck, just sort of under my chin area, that's all. It sort of gives me, it's light coverage. It's definitely light coverage. Let's finish and see. This is definitely pretty easy to put on with your hands. It's probably quicker to put on with your hands than it would be to put on with a brush even. It looks very orange in the camera, I can see that. What I want to do is just put on a little bit more and just see if we can blend and build. So I've just got half a pump here, and I'm just going to see how that builds up. So that actually looks quite nice when you've put on a tiny bit more, although it sort of looks like the right shade. It's that undertone that it's carrying that is making it look like it's not the right colour. But like if the undertone wasn't so orange, it would actually probably be a really good colour for me. Like if it was actually this colour on my skin, that would be perfect. But it's not. It just seems to turn orange. This is just called oxidization. Basically, it happens to a lot of foundations when they hit the air. It can be because of skincare, it can be because of your pH in your skin, it can be the formula in the foundation, it can be so many things. It's really hard to know. But I have seen reviews where other people have said the same thing, that it's gone a little bit orange. We can fix it. We can work with this. No problem. I'm going to get out some of my Sheer Glow. Now, if you've bought this foundation or any other foundation, you found that it's too dark, it's too orange, it doesn't sit right, you don't have to panic and throw it. I mean, you can take it back, return it, whatever you want to do. What I am going to do is add some Sheer Glow to this. So I am going to add a couple of drops. I'm just getting this out of the bottle before I get this and blend it in. It says it's blendable with foundation. Let's just check. There's pores on the side of my nose. Okay. You can see it actually has blurred the pores on the side of my nose. So let's just blend that on top. It's probably going to look pretty light first off the bat because we're toning down something that's orange. You've been looking at my face as an orange for a few minutes, so the comparison might be a bit, oh God, but it'll all settle down. That's much better. Okay, so it blends into another foundation really well so far. Not pilling, so it's not coming away. It's not blending, it's just blending so easily, as you can see, and so quickly. And then I guess Sheer Glow is, as the name suggests, sheer and glowy, but it does help it keep that look. That looks much better. I've got another uni. Can't even speak. I've got another new one. This is the Nars Laguna bronzer. This is a cream bronzer. Oh, Toby boy. I have tried this yesterday. I did try and put it on with my fingers, but I actually found it went on better with a sponge. So that's the colour there. It's a really nice bronzing colour. Maybe because this base that I have down is a little bit more dewy than what I was wearing yesterday. It's blending in a lot better actually than it did with what I wore yesterday. Yesterday I wore a more matte foundation. What was I wearing yesterday? I can't even remember. Anyway, whatever I wore yesterday. Either way, finger, sponge, brush, whatever you prefer. It's the colour there, and you can see how it just gently blends on out to a nice bronzy colour. There we go. You could do all the contouring with this, absolutely. Just want that dewy, healthy look to my skin, I think. That blended in really, really nicely just with my finger. When we're blending, the reason we use our ring finger and not our thumb or our index finger is because you can apply a lot less pressure with the middle two fingers, whereas if you're using this finger, you just put your two fingers together. This finger can go down a lot harder than what you would these two, and you don't want to be too rough with your skin. You want to be gentle, especially when you're doing things, blending concealers and things like that under your eyes. You don't want to be pulling and stretching at the skin, so you just want a gentle touch. If you're just using a little bit of product at a time, working it in, you shouldn't really need to be pulling at the skin to get it worked in and sorted out, really. Because I want to try and set some of my face and see how the glow holds up with that. I'm just going to put some By Terry powder on. This is a very light powder used with hyaluronic acid, really good for your skin. If you have dry skin and powders bother you or worry you, this one is one that's definitely worth trying because it's a hydrating powder. Any lines that might have accumulated I'm just setting everything back down again. Once I put the powder on, I don't want to set any creasing that might have come up or started to come up. It's a really hydrating powder, and it's actually quite hard to use too much of it because it's so finely milled. You can't bake with it. It's not heavy enough to do that. It really is just setting powder. You need such a tiny amount. You can probably see it flying around here. So I'm just setting over what we've put down. See what happens to the glow, or what doesn't happen, whatever the case may be. I'm glowy enough. I'm not too glowy and I'm not too not glowy. It's just a good sort of balance. Really quickly fix up my eyebrows. So I've bent the actual spoolie at the end of it, so I can very easily go into this, and then I can just throw it around the room and go back in like this. Just gently tap it. I'm not putting a lot on at all, just a little bit. And then I can just go in and sweep over my unruly eyebrows. And it really does set them in place. You don't need a lot. That's all I'm doing. I haven't gone back in to get more, nothing like that. You only need a little bit. God, if you could see, oh man, if you could see my desk. And then I'm just going to go and I'm going to just take a pencil through really quickly and just fill in any, and there are a few, fill in the areas that are a bit hairless. We have more newness, don't go anywhere. I've showed you in the last video this one size powder foundation. My goodness, it's my new love. I have it in the colour Fair 3. The reason I got it in the colour Fair 3 is because I couldn't for the life of me work out what colour to get it in. And I figured that if I just got this in a lighter colour, I could use it as a translucent powder, worst comes to worst. And it's fine. My foundation shades are on all my videos. If you have similar colour to me, go back and check it out if that gives you any help. This I have had sitting in this room waiting for the day. Today is the day. This is the new Instant Look of Love palette by Charlotte Tilbury. Let's have a look at the love. So we have face powder, a blush, a highlighter, a bronzer, 3 eye colours. This is what we're going to use to finish my makeup right now. The Charlotte Tilbury face powder is just brilliant. It's so nice to use. And it's another really good product. These are actually a really good idea if you're new to Charlotte Tilbury and you wanted to try perhaps her powder and her bronzer, but you're not sure that you want to buy a whole one. This is a really good way to have a look and see if you actually like it. And it gives you an opportunity as well to check out her formula for her shadows. You're thinking of getting anything Charlotte Tilbury, but think, you know, the unknown has held you back. This is a good way to see. This is a powder foundation that I'm using here. So I'm just going through my T-zone with that, just to give me a little bit more cover. And the days that I use the Charlotte Tilbury powder foundation, just like the one size, my makeup does wear all day. Maybe if I was going to go out or do a meeting, I might touch up, but just being at home and doing whatever, definitely don't need to touch up when using these because they're just too good. Let's go into the bronze. I'd guess this would be the medium colour bronzer. So I'm going over the Nars just to intensify it and help lock that colour in place for the day. And I'm using a really, really light hand on the bronzer. The other thing with the Charlotte Tilbury is they just blend in so well. There's this minimal blending required. So really I am just blending this ever so gently. First thing I'm doing is placing the colour down and then just tapping to move it around. Then I'll just take a little bit up here. Don't forget to take your bronzer through your hairline because you want it to look natural. Good thing about her bronzers as well is they're very similar, sort of not the same. I'm not 100% sure, but the formula is like a face powder. You don't lose the pigment and you don't have to worry about it wearing off either. They really are stay all day products. A little bit down my nose. Bit under here. A really nice universal brown. So that she's got 2 of these out at the moment. I think this is the second darkest one. Shame there's not one third or a fourth that goes darker, but hopefully there will be. I'm sure it'll come. Just gonna put on some of that blush so you can have a look. See how pigmented that is? And I just like dipped it in sort of once. I'll actually take some off because it's her blushes pack a punch, and I haven't even put all of it on yet. And I'm not going to put all of it on one side because it's way too much. See, I've still got some on. These Peaches brushes are so good because this one's big enough that I can put product on one side, but then once I've distributed the product on that I want and turn the brush over, sort of pat it in without putting extra product on that I don't want. And they're soft, they're so soft. I've done a review video on them if you want to have a look. Just go back through my history on YouTube or Instagram, wherever you are watching this. Bringing it through sort of just so it comes into that cheek area, but not so it's the focus of the cheek area, if that makes any sense. I want to try and keep everything nice and high and lifted. Okay, let's go for some highlighter. I'll just clean that brush. This is the Charlotte Tilbury number 5 face highlighter, so it's the 5th powder in the palette. Wow, can you see that? Not that I needed any more glow, of course, but just in case I didn't have enough, and some more. It's got a bit of a pigment in it actually, which is sort of nice. Just gonna put some over my forehead. If you've got texture anywhere, or acne or eczema or any skin conditions, if you put highlighter over it, you're gonna accentuate it. Wherever you're putting your highlighter, make sure you stay away from any textured areas. That's why you don't want to put your highlighter right there if you've got lines, because it's just going to sit in those lines and sort of make them really obvious. That's why rather than putting my highlighter here, I always place it just about there. It's just a bit further away from here. I might put a little bit Cupid's bow, and quite a big brush to do with such a small area, but and then a little bit on my chin. Look at that glow. Can't complain. Toby's down here like, would you hurry up? I'm just going to go into that translucent powder and I'm just going to lay that over that really sheer by Terry powder. And really work it into my eyelids to make sure that I have dealt with any creasing. There's 3 options here. So obviously you've got a matte, a topper, and a highlighter brightener type thing. So let's just do the exact look. I was going to do the bronzer and then that one and then that one, but that just like, let's just keep it easy. All right, so this is this color here. I'm just going to place that down outer corner. I'm just going to change up my brush a bit. I'm just going to blend that in through and above the crease. It's a pretty color. I blend above my crease because my eyes are a little bit hooded. And I find if I was to stay right in here and take my shadow down here, you wouldn't see much. I do have a fair bit of room here. I have the room, so I may as well go up and use it. That's my story anyway. I'm sticking to it. Just gotta blend that through. These are blending beautifully as you would expect. If you've not used Charlotte Tilbury's shadows before, they are absolutely beautiful. They are so pigmented that you don't need a lot. Don't take a lot to work with. You don't need to sit there for ages blending them. They are really user-friendly. They pack a punch. I'm just blending that through and up. I want to try and make sure that that outer corner is your darkest corner of your eye. That's probably where you would put your product down and then blend from there this way to remove the product from the outside corner to the inside corner, because that way if you end up with too much on that outside corner, not a big deal, but if you end up with too much on that inner corner, it can make your eyes look quite closed off and small. I'm going to put the product here. I'm going to work it in a little bit, just with very gentle little strokes, working it in and up as I go, and then I'll take my brush through that inner corner, and that's where you come back and forth. The first thing I'm doing is sort of concentrating on that outer edge. Let me show you these ones. This is actually the darker color and this is the lighter color. So I think the darker color in the pan, I'll show that to you in a second, is almost like a topper, and this is a very pigmented highlighter sort of metallic-y color. So this is that topper and this is the highlighter. Okay, so now I'm just going to brighten up my actual eyelid. So I'm going to use the first colour here, which is called One Eye Brighten. And I'm just going to take that onto my lids, but I'm not going to put it above the crease. So I'm keeping it all the way down. This is a really good brush. You're trying to put product in a specific place. This is a PC52. I find it's just so good for putting product in the exact spot that you want to put it. I'm just putting that over the lid. But like I said, I'm not taking it above the crease. This is just going to help open my eyes a little bit because it's lighter than that colour that we have above it. It's not glittery, sort of like a metallic velvet almost. It's not velvet, it's shinier than a velvet, but it's not metallic either. It's just a really subtle sheen or wash of colour, maybe is a better way to describe it. Okay, if I did want to go and make this a little bit darker on those outer ends, what I could do is I could go into the middle colour here, just with that same brush, and just put a little bit of that darker colour on the outside edge, just to bring them all together. And this is a very subtle colour. It's a little bit more than the colour we put on the eyelid. It's not quite as deep as the colour we put through the crease and above it, but it's enough to draw your attention to the outside corner of your eye and help keep that lifted look and keep that inner corner nice and light, which is what you want. And I'm just going to go back into the highlighter. This is into the face highlighter that's here. See how that just gives it a bit more brightness in there and just helps to keep everything looking nice and shiny and fresh. Shiny is the wrong word. These colours are not glittery. It just acts a little bit more as a highlighter. It's got a little bit of an orange tinge to it. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'm just going to put under the last little bit of my eyebrow just to give a bit more colour there as well. I'm just tapping that in, I'm not rubbing. I'm just going to put a little bit of black liner on my waterline on the top. You can see the difference. Helps lift up my eye, but it's not sort of staring at you in the face and looking like it's all too much. Charlotte's pencils are beautiful and creamy. If you wanted a comparison, I would probably say these are very similar to the It Cosmetics No Tug Liners and the Urban Decay 24/7. I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury's mascara. I'm going to use her Full Fat Lashes, one of my favourite mascaras. I've already curled my lashes, just so you know. You don't need to curl your lashes. This is a really forgiving mascara, and although it's not labelled waterproof, just got a huge chunk of it there. I have to get that off. I've just gone in with the Charlotte Tilbury. I didn't put the wand up and down properly. I've got far too much on, so take a cotton pad, take it right up under that eye, and then gently just pat down. And you should get it off. You might have to do it a couple of times, or you could wait for it to dry. You definitely want to take a cotton pad up under there though, because you don't want to have it transferring black smudge under your eye. And as I keep forgetting to tell you all, don't use filters in any of my videos. What you get is what you get. There's no filters on any of my product videos. Filters have a place, of course, but I think if you're trying on products, you're trying on looks, you're showing people things, I just think it's not very fair to do it with a filter on. So that's my choice, it's my preference. Everybody each to their own. This is the new, or one of the new MAC Love Me Liquid Lip Colours, and this is in the colour Laissez-Faire. My French is horrible. I did Japanese at school, I didn't do French, sorry. Let's just try this. Might finish with a shot of setting spray. If there's anything you want to see, let me know. Leave me any questions or send me a message. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow or subscribe depending where you're watching. And I will see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.